Welcome to Poor Audio, the Inside Gaming Podcast. I'm John. No one else is here. That's it. I'm the only one.
What do you guys want to talk about this week?
I'm Bruce.
I'm Joel.
That's Adam.
I'm Adam.
Wow. Last week we talked about the Xbox, its 180 reversal, and how they actually did what...
It got heated. I don't remember a lot of what I said, but I don't remember saying as many bad things as we said we were, so I remember probably... Since Saturday, I've been leaving nothing but comments and defending.
It's also super long. It's like 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Do we say
It's
bad
the longest
things?
that we've done.
I don't think so.
No. I was like, we all just thought it was not as bad as everyone led it to believe.
Right.
And
How
not as
dare you
great a
be in
reversal.
defense of something that is so universally hated as a product that has not been released yet? That's kind of my whole thing was ultimately, I guess I never said it clearly, was I like competition. I don't like monopolies. And by everyone saying, man, I hope PlayStation's the only thing out there, it's like, you don't want that.
No, you
You
don't.
want two people fighting for you at all times.
You want the Ouya.
No, you don't. Actually, and F that. You don't want two, you want three or four.
Right.
You want everyone coming at you at all angles.
We need a Dreamcast. We need a Saturn. We need
Sure.
a 32X.
Canceled.
You need three things from Sega.
I might need more Sega.
So with
To
all
clear
of that,
any of that up,
with
yeah.
all of that shit,
hearing you
how,
wee in there.
How could Sony potentially screw this up? Like, so far they were riding so high, and now that Xbox has kind of leveled it out in a lot of people's eyes. How
Well,
can
the
they
way
really
you said
screw this?
the reason I think that it's funny you bring that up, just because the realistic thing is Sony could screw it up
Yeah.
because they've been very quiet and they've just been letting Microsoft stumble over their own big clown shoes.
Well, and what I've been saying since the very, very beginning of this whole Xbox PS4 war is that Xbox is being specific about what they're giving you. And, of course, there's going to be pros and cons to everything. And it's really nice that they're being specific. I like that. Sony is not. Sony's saying, we're going to do all these really cool things. We're not going to show you how we do it. And we're not
Right.
going to tell you how we do it.
That's like I said. It brings up the potential of failure. I'm not one. It's like, once again, to clarify everything. Everything we're talking about is theoretics,
Yeah.
and it's what we know now, which on Sony's side is very little. We know what the specs are, but they're like, "What's the interface like?" Ooh, it's really good. You should
it's
watch
like-
our promo video. It's like, right, but I want an interface walkthrough. It doesn't exist.
You don't worry about the interface. Let us worry about the interface.
That it's little things like that. I'm freaking stoked about all their self-publishing things, but then it reminds me of the App Store with iTunes. I'm gonna have a bunch of fart apps. Like,
Right.
anyone can self-publish. Like, sweet. Oh, that's not good. Like, that could be horrible, potentially. Unless they have a curation system, which they haven't talked about.
Yeah.
They just say one thing is, indies will be able to self-publish. Thank you, good night. It's like they're just doing the lowest thing from Family Guy. 9/11 was bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah! They're being very smart.
Well,
they're being very awesome with their PR team.
How did the PS3 screw up? Like, what was the screw up with the
There
$600.
was
PS3?
way too many things
Keep
that
it coming.
nobody wanted.
They were
Yeah.
way too expensive,
Uh-huh.
hard to develop for,
Online sucked.
poor online system, poor interface. Well,
Not
the
enough games.
The
All the
XMB was
launch
good,
games were
but-
garbage.
Yeah.
Their
So-
PlayStation Store interface was really bad when it first launched.
So those are my reasons. Those are my ways that that Sony can fuck this up is by not specifically the games. That's
Right.
a big deal, obviously, and then also I think the interface.
Well, they've had
right.
time to learn though. They've had was it 7-8 years?
Here's the thing, they
to
have
figure something out.
But I've been reviewing Sony products for almost 10 years, and their interface has never gotten better. They just
Right.
don't know what they're doing when it comes to every device. And it looks like if anything's gotten better, I guess it'd be the PlayStation. But even then, that's like not even close to what an Apple
Well, that's 'cause
product
they're
is, or
a
what
hardware company.
Microsoft is. What?
It's because they're a hardware company.
Well,
They
no.
have no idea what they're doing.
Sony makes interfaces on all like the Vita. That's a proprietary interface on the
Yeah,
Vita.
and it's pretty. Well, last time I messed with it was pretty bad. The big
No,
bubbles.
They've been updating it, but it's still not good. I mean, like it's
I like
not-
the XMB though. Just the cross media bar is so much better.
Sure, it's
clean,
better,
nice,
but it's
elegant.
better, but still not good. It's
Right.
still not a good system.
Well, like
So-
one of the telling things was for one of their new Android phones, they're partnering with CyanogenMod. This is beyond a lot of you guys. You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yes, I do.
These are guys who make a really clean interface, basically stock Android. So these guys are like they're like hackers basically. It's all unauthorized, and Sony just said, "Hey, you want to just make our interface for us? We'll just partner with you."
Really?
Yeah, because you do better phones.
They
than
went to
we
4chan and they were like, "You guys don't wanna maybe."
Kinda. So it's
There's the job.
But so that actually makes me very hopeful about Sony, that they're just kind of like, tell us what we're doing wrong, which they've been very apologetic and, like I said, they've been very forthcoming. I just hope that they follow through on everything. Otherwise, yes, the thing's going to come out. Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? I bought this instead of an Xbox. God damn it!
Well, I
So
mean,
it's-
I think that they're doomed because everyone is expecting the world of them now. At this point, everyone's like, oh, well, this is clearly going to be the... And so no matter what they do at this point, people will be disappointed.
did you say doomed?
Doomed!
I wouldn't say doomed.
Doomed!
There's always someone who, they expect what is it, the moon and more, whatever. It's just, there's going to be someone who be like, oh, it didn't suck my dick. Like, you said it was going to do that.
There would be dick-sucking interface. You said that at the press con.
The one thing I think that, like, once again, we're talking about potential ways Sony could screw it up. They said just recently they didn't include the PlayStation Eye because it made them a lot more competitive in pricing. It let them be $100 cheaper.
Right.
Is that going to fragment development? Is that just going to be like, oh,
Well, no, it's not. The reason is because the eye sucks.
And no
we
one's
don't-
going to develop for
The
that.
move sucks.
but we don't know how it is yet on the new PlayStation.
But that's also Xbox hoping that everyone in the world is going to develop for the Kinect, when in truth, only like motion games are
But-
going to try and actually do
at,
that.
well, no, I mean, but at the least it's there.
I
The
was
developers
gonna say, they gave it
know
to
it's
them.
there.
They gave it to them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
It's nice. What?
No, it's nice that it's nice that they have that
Oh
capability.
yeah. No, I'm saying there's uniformity. Whereas, Microsoft, like I said, is the big lumbering retard. There, at the very least, they said everything's going to be the same.
Yeah.
It's the same for everyone. So for developers, that's very good. They know what they're doing. That's why a lot of developers like working for consoles over PC because they're like, well, I know what I'm working with.
Yep.
I don't have to develop for a bunch of different video cards. I just need to do this one thing. With Sony, it's just kind of like, okay, well, we're just making a game. There's no extra stuff. Like, I'm just saying, one of those games is going to come out, like an Amnesia type game that utilizes the Kinect. People go, oh,
Yeah,
I get it.
Right.
This is kind of cool if the Kinect does that. And then some Sony developers go, well, I can't do that.
Right.
That sucks. Maybe. That potential is there to cause some kind of confusion, just fragmentation of the audience. Or like, this game is better if you have this. And then it's like, well, I have to buy another thing now? And this is too complicated.
But see, that leaves it only to exclusives that are on the Xbox, because most games that are going to be cross-platform, I don't think the developers are going to go out of their way just to develop a Kinect-only
see,
feature for something that's going to be on both PlayStation and Xbox.
I don't know if they're going to go. Like, I know what you're saying. Go out of their way.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But with the minor Kinect integrations, like Alpha Squad Go, like while you're playing, like those are really easy to implement in a developer sense. And if you've got that added bonus there in Xbox, why not do that? Like Titanfall is being developed for only Xbox and PC, and they probably did that on purpose because they knew they had Kinect, right? I mean, that's one of the things that I think Kinect.
Well, they said clouds. They have clouds.
Well, that too, but we haven't even gotten.
They can
to
develop
that.
for clouds.
And the cloud is another way that Microsoft is being forward thinking about their console. Whereas PS4 is just up in specs. They're just like, oh, it's faster now, and which is great. I'm glad that it's faster. It's $400. It's awesome.
So do you feel like, because of that specific problem, another way they might be able, just to bring it back to the original topic, another way they might be able to fuck this up is by just having a console with better specs. And so in 4 years, when we're in sort of the midlife of these consoles and Xbox is able to do have a lot more utility, people will be saying, oh, I wish the PS4 did this, and I wish
we
PS4
know
did this.
spec-wise that the PlayStation can do exactly what what Microsoft's doing with the Xbox, with the whole cloud thing, everything they're touting. The only thing is Microsoft has the networking background. They've been doing internet shit like this for years, arguably good and bad.
Right.
They can't even keep their blog server up for very long. But they're trying. And that's the thing. They're trying to do this new step of innovation of everything's in the cloud. And Sony's like, it's faster. It's a better system. And you're right. Yeah, in a few years, are people really going to start to notice the differences? And once again, I think also one thing I want to iterate, it doesn't matter who sells more consoles, because look at what happened to the Wii.
Yeah.
It sold the most, and it kind of did the worst.
Yep.
Well, in terms of the Wii U now, like the next generation, no one's buying. So it's
Well, kind
It's
of.
because no one even knows that's the next generation.
Well, they won the battle. They lost the war. Is what happened.
Well, because they make the money off of the software, not the hardware. They lose money on the hardware.
Yeah.
So every time people go, well, I hope you know this, but PlayStation 3 outsold the Xbox, like, doesn't fucking matter. It depends how many more copies of Call of Duty sold on Xbox versus PlayStation versus PC. That's where the money's at, because they're making a licensing fee on that stuff.
Sure.
So it's who's moving the most units. And once again, I mean, that was my whole argument about digital. Is like, ideally, you want to be moving more stuff digitally because just more money is being dispersed among the people who are actually making the games.
Yeah.
And having a more easily, like a smoother, better digital interface, online interface,
Right.
as Xbox probably will.
And I want
they wanted to do.
And I want to see what Sony's going to do, because they talked about some really cool stuff that we haven't seen yet. Like, I mean, this one scares me, but I love it. It's the it's like a PlayStation Plus option or whatever. It's like we will just download games for you that we think that you would like
in the background.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's like the iTunes Genius thing. That's what it is.
Yeah, they'll
But
just
it was
they'll
like, even
download
then,
a
it's not
demo
just
for you.
forcing a download on you. It's like, you're going to enjoy these songs. I'm like, get these 10 gigs
Yeah,
off of
I
me.
don't like
I don't like
hey,
it either.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm all for it. I think that's pretty cool, but I want to see it happen. And I think they're laying back on the digital stuff because it looks bad. And it's a very, anything Microsoft when they're like, it's the future, you idiots, and everyone's like, no, shut up, you're being a jerk.
Well, I can tell you what's gonna happen. Here's the way I see the future as it stands right now. If nothing changes between now and November when the consoles come out, PS4 will sell far and away, probably double the Xbox One. That's probably what's gonna happen. And then in 1 year, when Microsoft implements their digital sales, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh fuck, Steam sales on the Xbox One. That's going to overtake PS4, and then PS4 is in probably 2 to 2.5 years going to go, shit, we need a digital marketplace, and then they're going to start rolling that out too. That's what's going to happen. Like you said, they're going to win. They're going to sort of win in the long run. I think was it you?
I was saying Microsoft won.
They're going to win in the long run. At first, PS4 is going to win this little battle.
Because who orders like day of? It's like tech dorks who are really excited about
Right.
the PS4.
They're both going to sell out day one.
Yeah.
They're already
Well, they already
selling
have.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's of course those are going to be gone, but yeah, who's going to win the 2014? Who's going to be? It's going to be really interesting to watch those sales move up and down. And I would really freaking hate this. This would bother me because I'm buying a PlayStation 4. I don't want it to be like the Wii again, where people go, "Oh yeah, I played it once and I put it in my closet." It's like, no, I hope they keep putting out content. They keep putting out new innovative things.
They will.
I really hope so. But
Yeah.
the other thing too is like, I was thinking, what's going to be the next move? What's going to be the next Connect? That thing that they're going to introduce halfway through the console life cycle to just kind of pump some blood into it.
Right.
Because people need something new if they want to keep the hardware going. And I honestly think it's going to be Oculus Rift.
Possibly.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're going to integrate it somehow.
Yeah.
And the integration is going to be better with a Kinect. We talked to the developers
Yeah.
about it,
No, it definitely will be.
where
Interesting.
you're going to be in your 3D environment, and then you'll have something tracking you. So you actually will have like digital hands.
That would be awesome.
Like you're gonna be wearing the headset, so you're gonna be immersed in it, and then you're gonna be doing this thing with a rifle.
With the rifle.
standing
You're
up,
going to be
walking
knocking
around.
everything
Or-
over at your home.
Yeah.
I mean, or like even like imagine watching like a movie that comes out like Hobbit, the next Hobbit in 3D with your Oculus Rift,
yeah.
and then you're like able to pause it and rewind it and go back. Like, that'd be amazing.
It's super fun.
And then I'm gonna mod my hands look like Hobbit hands.
And once again, theoretical, because I bought a Kinect because I thought I could do this with Netflix, and it was garbage.
Yeah,
it
no,
was
it's
the worst
terrible.
thing, and I was like,
controller.
and then I found out Netflix didn't even work with the Kinect, so I was like, okay then.
That's why.
Well, thanks. So, like, I mean, like, yeah, the next Kinect could be a complete failure, but from all the tech demos that we've seen, the stuff has been pretty amazing,
It's
and I
been
haven't
there.
seen anything for the new Move yet.
Yeah.
I want to know what they're doing, and that's once again, we're talking about all our theoretics of what Sony could do to potentially fuck up, and it's set right now. It's
Just sit idle and do nothing.
I know. If I don't want them to do that for the long run of like we're still sitting here waiting, just letting Microsoft fuck up
So,
consistently.
but wait, but going back to what Bruce said earlier about how you're thinking next year they're going to do a big push, Xbox is going to do a big push on digital.
I think eventually they're going to have to roll out the things they wanted to roll out initially.
You really
And
think that they'll go back on what they just pulled it away?
I think
Oh, hell yeah.
They're gonna go back on it. But
totally.
It's gonna be a gradual process. And like we've been saying for the last week now, those 24-hour online check-ins for DRM, that's the best online DRM I've seen for any system.
How so?
Because every other DRM is always check-in once an hour, like the SimCity thing that crashes all
gotcha.
the time.
Alright.
Like, so if you're gonna have online DRM, that's the best way to do
You
it.
just sound like you have Stockholm syndrome. Like this is good.
No, and that
That's
was
great.
I actually initially when I first read it, I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. They're making Steam. They're making Steam on the Xbox,
Right.
and now they're not. Now they're just making the PS4.
Yeah.
So it's like
Why do we think it is that you either have all or nothing? You either have the 24-hour or 24-hour, and you have to always be online.
It's developers
all
and
the time.
publishers. It's
Well, like
it's
Steam-
piracy. It's
well,
piracy.
Right, but Steam, you don't have to be online. Right, you don't have to be online to play Steam games.
But
Right.
you can do to set offline mode, which is what I wish they would have just said.
Right.
at
So
the
so
beginning.
so for why for the, is it because of the pressure from the developers that
Yes.
they has to be all or nothing?
yeah.
And they
That's
can't.
my
And they
question.
can't. And they can't say that. They can't say EA's twisting our arm
Right.
Yeah.
to do this.
That's a bummer.
Because they don't want their games pirated on Xbox.
Well, that's one of the comments I read. Someone said these guys are so disconnected from the rest of the world of you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Us?
Clearly, oh yeah, I read one of the comments about us.
Oh.
Oh, come hey, no.
Now they really hate the pink shirt
No.
guy.
So, I mean, like...
So you gotta have a villain in every show.
That's true, you're right.
Can we get you an evil mustache?
Yes, you may.
Joel, the theater-loving show tunes man. Let's hate him.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, a lot of times I sit here and I listen to, like, what we're saying, and it's like, yeah, we're talking, obviously, from our perspectives of we live in LA, and our internet connections rarely go out, and they've been, like, pretty good. So it's like, 24 hours? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, that's not a huge deal. But I could imagine it for, like, someone in a country with, like, really shit internet where, you know, maybe they live on a farm or something, and
Yeah.
they, like, it's like satellite internet, and it just goes out for a week, and then it's like, you can't play a single-player game? That's bullshit.
Yeah, no, you're
Like,
right.
that's really bad. I can see that not working. But to say, like, the utter, you know, the really shitty Microsoft thing, they said, oh, just buy an Xbox 360. I would have said, no, go buy a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Because it has a total offline mode and it has discs, which is like...
But it's not an issue
But now
It's
the
not an
exactly
issue
now the Xbox does that. I just wanted to put out there that I am trying to think of all of you, everyone out there,
Oh, that's so nice.
and
Such
it
a
really
gentleman.
it sucks if I don't know how you're listening to us with a shitty internet connection because
this
it's
is
like
a
a
30-minute YouTube video.
yeah really.
I think it's a chicken and the egg thing though, and I like again like I don't like the 24-hour check-in just from a like creepiness
Sure, of
like
course. Nobody
point
likes
of view.
that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but like you know. We had to have cars before like people would actually build roads,
Right,
and
yeah.
so like this is the car, and like if we want people to have like really like if we want really good internet across the entire country, we need to have a reason for that internet. No one's going to build
Right.
infrastructure for products that don't exist.
And-
And what you're saying, like what the audience is now saying, and by the audience, I don't necessarily mean you guys. I mean like the mass,
The general
like,
audience, right.
raving beast that got mad at Microsoft is that like stop pushing technology forward because we only have this level of infrastructure right now where they're not forward thinking. They're not saying in 10 years
Right.
we're always going to be online with everything, and that's what annoys
Like
me
if
about it.
enough people had an Xbox that kept going out, they would bitch loud enough to the telecommunication companies and say, "Hey, make internet better."
Right, like if telecommunication companies could, we would none of us would be having like I mean we used to be all on DSL, and if we weren't on DSL, we'd be all on like dial-up right now because
Right.
like they don't like upgrading their infrastructure. They're only upgrading their infrastructure because our
Fios
computers
is coming in. Google's coming in.
exactly,
right
and
now.
like and our computers are getting better, and so like
Yeah.
our consoles are computers now. Like you guys need to get on board the technology bandwagon.
Jesus.
We already know, just in our cursory research, we know that 85% of the United States has internet. 85%. So
That's the United States, though, not the entire world.
Correct. But again,
And the rest of the world's better than us.
Not all of it.
Not
Good
all
part of it.
Right,
Most
part
of
of
it.
it.
People who
But
buy
the United
consoles.
States is the lion's share of Microsoft's console sales.
Oh no, I know.
So-
That's the other thing too. It's like when people say like, "Why is Microsoft not going after this country and this country and this country?" It was because they said, "Well, the Xbox 360 didn't sell there.
Yeah.
Why would we sell it to people who don't want to buy our
So-
stuff?"
so
but that's the thing. They didn't say it that way. They didn't
No,
put
yeah,
it. They
they
didn't
didn't.
say, "Oh, we're exploring other regions," but right now we're focusing on our most hardcore demographic.
Yeah.
They just suck at PR.
Right.
They can't say the right
They
thing.
should hire you.
I'd probably kill myself, honestly. Did you see Larry? Did you see the
Major Nelson?
the Conan video?
No.
They
Oh, yeah,
Conan
yeah.
goes to E3 and they
Yeah.
like basically he looks like he wants to murder himself.
Yeah,
like,
he looks real sick.
Let's-
and that guy's only 28 years old.
No,
He looks
no
suicidal.
Major Nelson's bummed. He's really bummed.
Oh,
and
man.
content. He looked bummed. I actually saw him walking through E3 and I felt
Could
real
you
bad.
imagine that being PR for Microsoft?
No.
Yeah.
And 1 minute being like on doing an interview with Angry Joe, defending all the things that your company who pays you your paycheck every week of like everything we're doing is right, and then the next week they go, "Oh, we're changing everything," and he's probably like, "What the fuck, guys?"
And left me out there
And
to
everyone's
die.
like, "You lied, Major Nelson's like, he didn't flip the switch.
Yeah,
He's
no.
not the one who did it. Clearly, they're just no one's talking over there.
So Sony
They
really
could have
doesn't.
handled that better.
Yeah.
Everyone could handle everything better, but it's one of the things. It's like it's the problem I always fear that's happening to us. It's like we're up here in our ivory internet tower of like, look how faster. Just get faster internet. It's the easiest thing. People are like, I can't get faster internet. In Canada we have a monopoly with Rogers or whoever.
But-
and they're just
Well,
dicking
it's
us
not even
over.
that you needed faster internet. You just needed
internet.
That was it.
That's my
No,
point.
yeah.
And like, and again,
That's the 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
Which actually Jimmy
Like-
was saying the PlayStation already does, or he says he pays for it
His PS3, yeah.
because he
PS
pays for
Plus.
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Right.
The PlayStation needs to log in every 24 hours or automatically to see if there's a new patch, and it will auto update. That's what he was saying. I don't have PlayStation Plus, so I don't know if it actually works that way. But I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, it's like my console already does that, and I pay for it.
No, it's true.
And
I
it's like,
mean,
then I think it's going to be that thing once again. We're just I've said once again probably 34 times.
I know.
This is what I'm going to keep saying and reiterating. This is all theory, not practice. And I'm really excited to see what happens because I think this is going to be like... you've used Google Now, right?
Yes.
You kind of mess with it.
Yes.
That is an always online, checking your search history, your emails, your itineraries, like everything you do is being read by Google.
And the FBI, and the president.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. It's a cell phone that's always online, and it's tracking you with GPS. It's even worse than a 24-hour online console or whatever, but it does things that I really like. Because like I looked up a sports team, it's like, oh, this is when this team's playing next. Tickets are on sale. I'm like, ooh!
Yeah.
What were you like?
Once the technology...
Wait. Say it again. What were you like?
Woo! And I did it like mid-burp, so there was like an odd kind of pause there. But I'm saying once technology makes it easier, not harder, people are more than willing to just kind of take it. That's like Steam, you outweigh the goods and the pros and the cons.
Right.
And the pros way outweigh the cons.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh shit, if my internet goes, I can't play my games. Well, my internet works half the time, so I'm not really mad. That's me saying that. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. I don't physically own games anymore, but look, I bought Grid for $3. Who gives a shit?
I know.
I can't resell that?
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
That's true.
No, my $3.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I've just they've become just like I'm almost like a collector of things that don't exist. It's a strange.
That's how everything is right now. That's how movies are. That's how music is. That's
Yeah.
all
That's why
over,
Bruce
right?
Willis has this lawsuit about his. Never mind.
What?
About his.
Wait,
about,
what?
about his. He has a lawsuit about his digital music library because he's got hundreds of thousands of songs in his digital music library, and he wants to include them in his will to his kids for when he dies.
Oh.
And RIAA saying you can't do that. And he's like, well, I bought it. I own it. I own the license on these like digital copies. So.
Wow.
And so he's in a lawsuit right now.
Wait.
Fun little
like,
argument.
So like music he legally bought. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying he wrote 100,000 songs.
Bruce
that we
Willis,
just
the
haven't
accomplished
heard.
composer.
He's like
Bruce
Bob
Willis.
Dylan.
Yeah.
He was what's Bruno for a little while. He actually had a little musical career in the 80s. It was really
With a
pathetic.
harmonica.
It was bad.
Hudson Hawk.
But no, actually that brings up an interesting point there too because now
Do his kids really want the music?
it's probably some really. It's just mostly Enya. He's like,
Oh, man.
you're the worst father ever, and he's gonna die, and it's gonna be sad. But
True. That is going to
I'm
happen.
curious because I'm wondering if music works the same way as video games, where if you actually read the terms of service, even on the disc that you buy, it says you don't own it.
Yeah.
It says you're leasing it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard for them to enforce it when you're like mine because it's like. Yeah, Peter Moore's not going to knock on your door and be like, "Can you give
me
us
that back."
Give me Madden back." It's
Yeah, but
done.
but you own. Do you own the physical disc, if not the
Right.
information? So if you own the physical disc, if not the copy within the, if not the information within that disc, you can will that physical piece of property over to somebody else. And so,
Right.
But see, here's the thing: we're getting into a weird spot where I think if you like everybody's connected to the internet now. 85% of the United States is connected to the internet. So if you put that Madden disc in and you're leasing it, and your Xbox connects to the internet, your 360, they can just deactivate it. They can just be like, "Nope, you can't play Madden anymore."
See, that was the fear. That's what Microsoft was doing, and Sony was not. Where they were saying if you bought a disc, you put it in, it's now tied to your account. But if they were like, we don't want you having it anymore, which they have the right to do, which is fucked up.
But that exists
they
with
could do-
everything right now. That
Yeah.
exists with everything on your phone. That exists with everything, all your music
your
library, all of
Facebook
it.
page, your Twitter account,
All of it.
Oh, yeah.
They
No,
can just
you're
turn it
owned
all
by
off.
internet.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, the trick is to make it as easy as possible. They want it to be fun and easy.
So why do we think that people don't freak out about the fact that, for example, your phone always needs to be online and it always needs to like check in to be
Because
online?
it's convenient.
It's more of a for fun
it's something
rather
you-
than like.
Oh yeah,
PR.
you're right. The Xbox is not for fun.
I'm saying when the system needs to go online just to check for DRM and to make sure that you're doing something legally, that's not for fun.
But let's put into perspective here. You would never notice that.
Yeah.
It would do it at night when you were asleep. Like
Right.
it wouldn't.
That's
be
what I'm
like,
saying.
I mean,
It's
once
just
it-
their PR saying this awful thing is
Yeah.
great.
Like I said,
Here.
the problem was they were way too forthcoming and being like, oh no, it's totally fine. You have to check in every 24 hours, and it uses this exact bit stream, and you'll be going through this and this. It's like, just don't say that. Just be
Yeah.
like, it will do periodic check-ins and make sure
Essentially,
you're logged in.
they're being too transparent. Is exactly what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
saying exactly what the
Whereas
technology is.
Sony's
I've
like
been-
advertising everything with a little asterisk on the
Yes,
end of it that
yes.
says we are fucking you over eventually.
Well, that was the really fun part. Once again, if you want to see why Sony is the freaking master of PR, watch the press conference given when they announced the price, and then really quick announce that PlayStation Plus will now be required to play all games online.
Yes, yeah.
It was like, we are $3.99. Go suck a dick, Xbox. By the way, you got to pay for PlayStation Plus. You want a little? Love me some more. And everyone's like, yes.
Yeah, Tony.
I mean, yeah. One of the funny things when you see, press people standing up in their chairs and applauding, it's like,
Ridiculous.
Please sit down and be respectful. Or
That's-
like people booing at the Xbox conference, like clearly this isn't a convention for kids.
I remember. So
that's my whole
this
E3
is a
rant,
bit of a
but-
tangent, but I remember like my first. So, we all worked at G4. Did you work at G4?
I did not.
You're the only one who
John was
didn't.
the
You're the
only
only
one.
one.
watched
I only
G4.
visited once.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, we all used to work, except for you. We all used to work at G4, and I remember going to press events as G4, and like we were gaming journalists there, and so like we had
Sure.
these rules about like you can't clap at press events,
Right.
like these are like you're a journalist, like you can't participate in the culture, you have to be a bystander. And so the first BlizzCon I went to at Machinima, I was like, now Brett, we can't applaud at these press conferences, and we can't get excited about things. But then you go to E3 now, and all these bloggers and shit who get in with their press
They're all
credentials, they're all stoked, and
No.
it's such a fanboy culture as opposed to like let's actually analyze what they're saying.
Right.
And
But if you go
like
to
there
a
is
film,
there is
if
value
you go
in
to
this
a film
passion.
premiere, they will like you could see the coolest fucking movie ever. I went and saw District 9 before I was supposed to see it. Or I saw like an early preview, and like a couple people were like, "Should we clap? I don't. That was really good.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what to do." But a lot of people were like, "I'm a critic. I can't like." I have to be professional. I have to be,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's where
That's a thing.
gaming. That's
Wow.
where gaming like totally separates itself. Where it's like it is a fanboy culture, and it's just. I mean, that's why I always laugh at the idea of a journalist. It's like you're an enthusiast.
Right.
It's a hobby. This is an optional, recreational, digital
Well, but
hobby.
but
That's
Adam,
all it is.
I mean, my argument to that is that I mean you can make that. I mean, then what is a theater critic or a TV critic or an art critic? Like
Hobbyist.
Well,
And
supposedly,
I didn't say critic. There are critics
or
There-
journalists,
there
people
are plenty.
who cover those beats.
supposedly those people have educations. That's usually. I'm serious. That's the difference. Is that movie critics supposedly have educations in film and blah blah blah. We don't have educations in video
And
games.
I'm not
right?
saying-
Like, that's
Well, because there's no
I'm
real
not saying-
school you could go to. You
Exactly.
just have to experience it.
exactly.
I'm
Well,
not saying-
that's the differentiation.
To be clear, that I'm not saying that there's no value in every like in the fanboyism, and it is a wonderful thing that the democratization of opinion and voice is a wonderful thing. My biggest problem is that when people who are fanboys are taken seriously by like the public as a voice, and then policy gets changed because some idiot is unhappy that their Xbox has to check in every 24 hours when he's not paying attention.
Whoa.
And then the future gets speed bumped because of like fanboyism. That's my problem.
Well, I mean, actually, you just described exactly what the landscape has turned into,
Mm-hmm.
which is essentially, the journalists, those, the I'm trying to think of like the Adam Sesslers of the world. I love the guy to death. I'm actually really glad he's online, but like, or say more like the Jeff Keighley's that like, I'm on TV, listen to me. It's like, I'd rather go to Total Biscuit because he has a YouTube channel that I like, and he professes his love of games the way I love games, and so I trust his opinion more than I trust the guy who sat next to Doritos and Mountain Dew. Like that's just what it has become, and it's like people just kind of gravitate towards these personalities online, and that is definitely the future. That is
Totally.
that is all it is.
So I mean, like taking all this into account, Sony really, in my opinion, Sony can't fail unless they start talking. And so I think if they're just like kind of sit back and be like, yep, this is what our system does, and then release it, and then when they fuck everyone over, when it does all these things that you're like, wait, no, you didn't say that, and then you buy the system, you already have it, then at that point they've won because they've taken your money.
I disagree. I think that there will be more once we start to see like what the interface is like, and once we hear a lot more about.
It won't matter. $400, it will not matter. That's the difference. The price point will not matter.
I mean, the interface might be amazing, and I could be proven wrong, but
No, I'm saying the interface could be bad and it wouldn't matter.
I think it will matter. I think that like people are going to discover this stuff, and I mean maybe not maybe it won't be a game changer, but I think that it will. As facts come out, people will start to be like, well, let's, we're 3 months away from the announcement. I'm not as stoked as I was because, like, my passions have cooled down.
Sure.
Let's actually look at this.
So
I don't
it's the
think
same
so.
thing with like remember the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a lot of that. Once it's the same thing when I said before Skyrim came out. I was like, yay, another bug-filled Bethesda game. They were like, how could you say that? It's like because you've only seen trailers.
Right.
And so I imagine overheating Xboxes, PlayStation controllers that will just die after an hour.
Yeah, but that's why I played
Touchscreens that don't
Skyrim.
work.
That's why I played Skyrim on the PC, and there were no bugs, and it was beautiful and wonderful, and it looked great.
I don't think
I
that
like the
argument
bugs.
would hold a. I mean, what? What'd you say?
I said I like the bugs.
You like the bugs? Oh yeah, no, the bugs are great. No, people had bugs, just not you.
I didn't have any bugs.
A lot of people didn't have bugs on
I had
Xbox
clipping
either.
problems.
Yeah, a lot of
Bugs great.
But it's a Bethesda game, and there's going to be problems. I'm just saying, new hardware. There's going to be problems.
Well, there's always problems.
Yeah. Right now, in our mind, we're like, how could there be problems? Like, because you don't have it yet.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is they've already won the public opinion because it's $400 versus
See,
the $500
yeah.
that you have to pay. So that it's $100 less. So it's like, again, 12-year-old Timmy goes to his mom and goes, "Hey, mom, I want PlayStation 4 or Xbox One." She's like, all right, well, 400 versus 500, $400.
How much is gold with Xbox
50
One?
or 60
The balance
bucks
a
a
year?
year.
It's $50 a year.
PlayStation Plus is also $50 a year.
Correct.
I mean, once again, like I'm still trying to break it down. Like, yes, $100 is a lot of money. I will not argue that with you any day of the week. But people buy iPads, a lot of iPads, and they buy a lot of phones, and they pay monthly contracts of like $100.
It's a great argument.
There's gonna get the line where someone's gonna go, PlayStation, didn't you have an Xbox last time? Like, yeah, but PlayStation's cheaper. Like, yeah, I got an Xbox for you, and their kids gonna be like, ooh, maybe it's better. It's a better product because it costs more.
Right.
People's brains are weird the way it works with money, and it's just because the $100 price point is like, yes, for the general person you look at it, but once desperation sets in, people are going to be buying a lot of Wii U's.
And also,
Wow.
Well, no, because that's what I'm saying. When you go to the store, you go to Best Buy, you're like, give me an Xbox One. Like, we don't have one. Give me a PlayStation. Don't have it either. What the fuck do you have?
Yeah.
Like, PlayStation 3s. I already have one of those. Wii U's? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
It's the Tickle Me Elmo thing all over again. So holidays, it's just going to be
Done.
everything's sold out.
and I also contend that $100 is a lot by itself, like sitting in a pile, sure. But when it comes like, am I going to spend $400 or $500 on this machine? The people who are actually be buying it, mainly parents and mainly post.
You're getting dangerously close to the ivory tower.
Hey, I'm wearing a
You're
pink
getting dangerously
shirt
close.
guy needs to be a villain.
I'm just telling you because everyone at home right now sitting there, $100. That's a lot of money.
But I'm telling you, most of the people who are saying that, like, and I'm sorry, like, I look at the demographics for our show. I know who watches our show. There's a lot of kids who are still in high school, and that's awesome, and we're so glad that you watch our show. But you're not buying this console. Your parents are, and for them, $100 is not
That's not true at all. I
I
bought
bought my
both lots of
console in
life.
high school.
I saved for fucking months to buy that in an N64.
You have a job and you're a responsible person.
I saved for months as well.
No, that's what I'm saying. If
I have
I
wealthy
was
parents.
so like,
So who's the villain now, John?
I'm saying rewind 12 years. I think that's when I was in high school. I don't remember. Oh no, maybe 10. I don't. Who gives a shit?
Math.
Anyway, I'm really bad at math. Clearly, I did well in school. Rewind. If I was given the choice, I would totally go for PlayStation because it's the cheaper one.
Always.
But if I was a parent and I didn't give a shit about these four dudes talking on a podcast about video games and all this shit, I would go, well, just which one do you want? And they'd be like, I want the more expensive one. They just go, well, I love you, so fuck.
Or what was the last one I bought? It was an Xbox.
That might be it.
They don't
That's a
remember.
good- that's
Yes, they do.
No,
It's sitting
no,
at
it
their
was a
TV.
Nintendo thing, right?
There was a weird moment. It was a Scene Nanners video I saw where he went to a school. I think you set that one up.
I was there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
It was, so Nanners went to this school, and this was a year ago, 2 years ago, and one of the kids asked like, "What do you like better, PlayStation 3 or Xbox?" And he goes, Xbox." And the kids are like, "Yes, fuck yes!" And it's like, what the fuck? It's because all those kids didn't have
Peeked out there.
PlayStations. That's fine.
People looked from outside. Really excited about that.
Point I'm
Yeah.
saying is that generation, those kids were all Xbox kids. They think, when we were young, we're like, oh, I'm going to go play Nintendo. It wasn't, I'm going to go play NES, I'm going to go play my game console.
Right.
It's, I'm going to play Nintendo. Nintendo means video games.
Yeah.
So all these kids are like, I'm going to go play Xbox. My cousins who I talk to, they're younger. They play Xbox because all their friends play Xbox. That's just kind of how it is. So it's kind of ingrained in their head that, oh, Xbox means gaming. For the college kid who is smart online, reads a lot of stuff, yes, he's going to get a PlayStation because it's more affordable if he can get one at holiday.
Right.
That's going to be tough. But in the long run, yes, 2014, like that's what I was saying, is going to be the really interesting year of who comes out on top,
Yeah.
who can ship more units, which once again doesn't make you a winner.
Yeah.
It comes down to software, who's selling more stuff.
But either way,
Actually, I was going to say with that, we should probably start to wrap it up here.
Okay.
Now I want to talk about this
Let's
forever.
just wrap it up. Let's just do that because we tried to talk about Sony failing, but
It's
We did a
going
little
in
bit.
20 different
Can
directions.
I just say I'm really excited that I am falling into the ivory tower villain role for the podcast. I
We're
want to
all
give the audience
mustache.
somebody to hate.
I'm going to buy you a top hat.
I would love to be like the guy that you all throw your rage at. Feel free.
Joel's also the guy leaving comments as Machinima, so
No, the
that on
secret's
one
out now.
it's out now.
Wow.
Ooh, on this channel.
Yeah.
That's great. Actually, the one thing I want to close out on though is that we brought up the original idea. Your idea was like, how could Sony fail? In my mind, I'm like, they can't.
Yeah, they can't.
I think
They can't.
They've
once
already gotten so high up that it's
Yeah,
hard for them
They'd
to
have to
fall
raise
off
the
it.
price.
They
They'd have to raise the price.
they have to kick a baby. They have to do a lot of bad stuff. They're like, our console's made of puppies.
All right, so
It's out,
you
everyone.
say Sony can't fail. Joel,
I think it's possible. I
you think it's possible they can't?
But not probable?
Not probable currently, but like, hey, after PS2, how many people were excited for PS3 and that failed at the beginning?
Well, it's because again, $600. Don't forget it.
That's
true.
true. That's true.
Bruce?
No, they can't. They can't. They're going to win the holiday war. They will.
Yeah.
I already know that. Xbox will win in the long run. I know they will. But
no, I mean they're already double the sales of Xbox or something.
yeah, it's
Rectangles for everybody.
Yeah.
So excited.
Well, thank you guys for joining me for this one. Oh, I got a handshake, from
handshake
Joel.
from the-
Wow, it's so firm. Here, just touch me, Kovic. Come here and caress me. Kovic, get over here and caress me. God damn it,
there
Joel.
it goes. See you later.